What if I were to tell you that the government was truly out to get you, and you didn't even know it?
Silent breed is people!
What if you were to look outside of your bedroom window to see extraterrestrial spacecraft flying in the sky? What if I were to tell you that only one man was willing to speak out against the machine?
We encourage you to make your lower animals work even harder and eat even less.
Coming to you live from deep under the mountain comes the message of truth in human form.
You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure.
Go to your windows, open them, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as bad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Doomtown Radio.
Yeah, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? We are live on Doomtown Radio. I'm your host, Trigger. That's Ma Deuce.
Yeah, how you doing?
That's Fox Wild.
What's up?
And that's Aunt Juniper.
Oh, hello there.
Yes, the hunt for a female side host continues. This week we've got Aunt Juniper, who comes to us from Aunt Juniper's various cooked, items.
Oh, Lordy, make sure you try my fish tacos.
We've all heard about your fish tacos, ma'am.
They were made with love.
I'm sure they were.
Get them for a reasonable price at wherever fish tacos are sold.
82nd Street?
Anyways, Aunt Juniper, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Well, the truth is, there was never really a whole lot of thought put into developing my character. I was always just kind of a random caller, so I don't know if I actually have a background yet.
You know what, that's a really good point, actually. Fox, why don't any of our characters actually have any real backgrounds?
I don't know.
Well, good to know you're putting as much work into this as you do into everything else.
Hey, bro, I'm a busy guy, man. I don't have a lot of time to...
What? You don't have a lot of time for what? What did you do last night?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, come on. Yeah, I think as a general rule, if you say you don't want to talk about something on the show, you're gonna have to talk about it.
I think I'm gonna pass.
Well, he's wearing runny mascara and he smells like a whorehouse.
That's pretty much normal for Fox.
Yeah, I don't always smell like a whorehouse. What are you talking...
Bro, put it like this. Until I met you, I didn't even know the confession booths had a scent.
Or really, what do they smell like?
Like you.
It smells like anal sex and crying.
It smells like a bachelorette party at a Nickelback concert.
It smells like millions of voices crying out at once.
Only to be suddenly silenced.
Inside the butthole of a man who doesn't know he's gay yet.
I hate you all.
Hey, if the butt plug fits.
We're talking about Fox. You gotta specify which hole.
What's the difference between them?
One is how he makes money, and the other one is how he makes friends. So basically the same thing.
Hey!
It sounds like you should come work for me.
No, don't give him any money. He'll just spend it on crack. Or a bunch of those sets of the little Russian doll things, which are promptly gonna disappear up his butthole.
Good God, what did I do to you all?
Came in here smelling like my famous roast beef.
Oh, I love your roast beef, Aunt Juniper.
Just $19.95 a pound wherever meat products are sold.
Anytime Fox is in the presence of loose change, it's funny because he has emotional issues.
You know what? Screw you all. We're playing a song. Here's Smotherbox by Nihilist Youth, Doomtown Radio.
That we had was our last feast. We feed off the toilets of the princess, gorge our bellies with the royal spice. When they found out diamonds make a perfect tissue, the slaves are broken, dying, long nights in the mines. So what's this out my face? through some heat. Now we break your rocks to feel the muskets of the bastards with their bayonets that's used to mine my brains. Rouse the whip crack shorts my pillory of misery. It's searing me, but if it were for me, motherfucker, who would feel the chains? So what's this on my face? You know damn well what's in my face. I know my place. Put it all right the way. Well, the whip's upon my back. I just gotta ask, who the hell made you the king?
Do you have a bad case of the 9 to 5 blahs? Feeling tired? Just don't have enough energy to make it through the day? Well, you need to try cocaine. Cocaine is Mother Nature's energy drink. It's at least 5% all natural, and it's helped thousands every day reach their peak efficiency. To get yours today, see Jose behind the Devil's Grotto. Come alone, no questions. From the same people that brought you crack baby commercials, smallpox infomercials, abused animal ads, and Passion of the Christ, comes a full box set special edition of Starving African Children, The Journey. Now you can ruin your entire evening by watching innocent children starve to death and then hear rich white men ask for your money for not just 30 seconds, but 5 whole hours. Isn't it time you made more snap decisions based off of emotions? Now you can finally have sex with that 16-year-old and not feel so goddamn bad. Buy it on DVD or Blu-ray today. Doomtown Radio.
Yeah, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? You are live in the studio on Doomtown Radio. If you want to get a hold of us, you can call the Doomtown Drunk Dial line at 424-465-2853. Leave us a message and we'll get you on the air. So on today's show, we're talking about 9/11. Was it an inside job? Was the government involved? But first, I think we were talking about Fox's butthole and what he does for money.
Oh God, not this again.
Spoiler alert, it involves ice cubes.
Well, Mr. Fox, I have an ice cube right here if you want to get to work.
I don't really think you're his type. Yeah, unless you're elderly homeless dudes, I don't think you got a shot. Or you a Catholic priest.
Oh, for the love of God, shut up.
All right, fine. So tell us what you did last night.
It's embarrassing.
Oh, come on, Mr. Fox. We don't judge.
Yes, you do. You've been judging me this entire time.
Yeah, but we've been judging you with love. Yes, love. Love and intense disapproval.
And a very strange sense of arousal.
Gross. Don't say things like that. Unless you want to find out how many animals died up in this.
All right. I'll tell you what I did last night. God.
Hooray.
All right, so my weekend started most of my weekends started.
Wait, how do you have weekends? I didn't even know you had a job.
I do a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
All right, so anyways.
So I go to this one bar that I go to. They have, live bands there and shit, but, it was some EDM thing that they were doing that night, and I wasn't really down for that, so I ended up going to, 4 to 5 strip clubs in a row, and just...
Because you got thrown out of 3?
Well, I got thrown out of the one because one of the dancers comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, you seem cool."
She's a terrible judge of character.
I think actually I'm the bad judge of character here because she hands me this bottle and says, "Take this," and
I don't know what it was, but, hey, Carpe Diem and FOMO and all of that. She hands you a bottle and you just take it. This is why you have so many problems. I ain't gonna deny that. But anyway, she gives me this bottle and I take a couple of the pills. Apparently, I'm only supposed to take one, right? But, whatever. You always start with one, you idiot. Well, I started with two, and then by the end of the night, she had taken two, and then I took a third, and then she... In any case, that's how I got thrown out of there. So I'm just kind of wandering around the streets of Doomtown, just yacked out of my mind, right? Yeah, hallucinogens that come in pill form. What were you thinking? Oh, that ain't nothing, man. After I freaking get thrown out of the third club and the fourth one closes down, I end up passing out under a dumpster and wake up in the fucking woods of Slumlot, right? There's like 1,000 rednecks there with millions of guns, and they're all congratulating me on something. I don't even know what. No one would tell me. If the NRA ever hears this, we're dead meat. Well, anyways, I get back to the city. I'm just wandering around, right? Just aimlessly. And then I remember I was supposed to take my camera and go shoot a battle of the bands. So I freshen up and...
How the hell do you freshen up? And by the way, it didn't work.
Generally, I use the restroom in a Mexican restaurant and spray myself down with Febreze.
That makes a surprising amount of sense.
Alright, so anyways, the Battle of the Bands was actually the day before. I forgot this because of who I am as a person and, well, because of who you are as a person. Yeah, well, anyways, so my buddy Brandon Edwards, he's the lead singer of Apophis Theory, gives me up a call and says that his other band, DS8, is playing, and... lo and behold, I happen to have my camera with me, and so it kind of works out. Okay, right? Actually, let me tell you how I first heard about DS8. I'm cruising Facebook, right? This guy named Rainman McMillan's on there talking about how he was, he was taking photos at their show, right? And apparently the crowd is a bunch of juggalos, And apparently, all the crowd did was just stay out of this guy's way and guard his camera gear. And apparently, McMillan had actually left some of his gear behind. And so the juggalos actually track him down and make sure he gets his camera equipment to him safely. And apparently they're just the nicest people in the freaking world. And, and that kind of touches me, Of course something touches you. Right, everybody realizes I'm a whore. I get it, but... I end up messaging DS8's lead singer Jonathan up, and I'm like, dude, anybody with a fan base that's that tight-knit and that's, that cool, man, I want to be involved, I want to show up and soak up the love, you know what I mean? Soak up the love, brother, you are not doing yourself any favors. Go on. All right, well, anyways, I end up buying a ticket to their Battle of the Bands. Don't show up to that because my truck explodes, so... now I owe him one and I gotta make this up. So it just so happens that last night I had the opportunity to do so, Okay, so here was my actual plan. I was gonna show up to this venue and I was gonna just have my camera as kind of a prop and maybe take a couple pictures and kind of, find out what happens. But I show up to this venue and let me tell you, dude, I am the odd man out. How is this in any way surprising? No, you don't understand. This is like a new metal rapcore show. Everybody there was so much more thugged out than me. Well, everybody there is avoiding me because I look like some preppy extra on the first season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, That's not a bad description of you. Yeah, man, so I'm just hanging out on my own, right? And I've got this camera, which I don't even know if I'm allowed to take in. I'm worried that people are going to ask me to take photos because I don't know what I'm doing, right? But then I think it's the band's manager, Jason Davis, shows up. And he just looks at me and he comes up and he shakes my hand. He says, hey, dude, any friend of the band is a friend of mine. When he's being all friendly and he's inviting me to come hang out and he lets me out backstage and behind the ribbons. And all of a sudden, I'm like everybody's best friend. People are buying me drinks and asking me about myself and they're telling me their life stories and they're adding me on Facebook. And it's just this entire time, dude, I've got this camera here. That's why everybody's accepting me, you know what I mean? I'm that guy. So now the pressure's on and I have to take badass photos. And people are pulling me over to take pictures of, their girl squad or, their bro platoon and all of this stuff. And dude, I'm just taking these horrible ass photos because I don't have any fucking idea what I'm doing. And I'm actually compounding this because in my mind, I'm like, hey, man, if I can't take pictures like a photographer, I can actually look like a photographer. So I'm getting in everybody's way and I'm trying to get down on the floor and look like I'm taking action shots and taking them from weird angles and different perspectives. And it just looks like ass. So now everybody's messaging me, and I mean, like, literally, right now, like, there's Jason Davis messaging me up. Jonathan messaged me a couple minutes ago, Brandon messaged me a couple minutes ago, and, even a couple of the, just random people were like, hey, man, how did the photos turn out? We really want to see them. They're being all supportive and everything, and I'm just like, oh, my God. I just need to start this out with an apology right now.
I bet that's not the only thing you start out with an apology.
So now I'm scrambling to find somebody to edit these photos, and I'm doing the best I can, man, but it just, oh my God. Hey, man, don't feel too bad. Photography ain't easy. Well, yeah, and you told them that this was your first time shooting a band, right? Right?
Oh, Lordy.
I may have told a few people I knew what I was doing. Now, why the hell would you go and do that? I didn't think photography would be that hard. Bro, it's an entire art form. Yeah, man, balancing f-stops up against ISO and shutter speed, that takes a lot of skill. Not to mention all the money you have to spend on, 50mm lenses and, 35mm lenses if you want to kind of pull it back a little bit.
And you can, of course, use a telephoto lens, but it's much better to use a prime lens when you're shooting bands because of how quick they move.
Which is the other reason that you need a prime lens, because, you have to turn your shutter speed way down, which means you gotta crank your ISO way up. And you really want that aperture to soak up as much goodness as it can in that short amount of time. And we haven't even gotten into editing photos, which is entire art form all its own. You have to edit photos? Oh my God, what the hell is wrong with you? I know. God, I'm sorry. So what are you gonna do now? I don't know, man. I'll probably pay a photographer to edit them and then, face my comeuppance later. But, hopefully talking about them on this show, gets me out of the hot water a little bit. What was their name again? DS8. They're from Portland, Oregon. All right. Well, hey, we're going to wrap up the show. Thanks to Aunt Juniper for joining us.
Triffity.
And we want to give a shout out to our 2 new Patreon subscribers, Mike D, Crystal. Oh, man, we love you too. Yeah, thank you too. You're the best. Thank you. Yeah, in the next episode or two, we'll get a commercial in there for Crystal's Candle Shop, and Mike D's wife, she runs she designs clothing, so that'll be pretty cool. Actual commercials. We love you all. All right, well, until next time, I'm your host, Trigger. That's Ma Deuce. Yeah, how you doing? That's Fox Wild. Sup? And that's Aunt Juniper.
Oh, Lordy.
And you are live on Doomtown Radio, where we don't say our slogan enough for you to give a shit.